A lot of times I do wonder and imagine, and I need you to join me on this. Just for a second, imagine a world where every decision we make is informed, every belief questioned, and personal growth just becomes intuitive. Welcome to Fresh Perspectives, hosted by myself, Banjo, where we delve into the unseen biases that shape our societal norms. Join me on this journey as we expand our thinking and open more pathways to understanding in business, finance, career, relationships, and so much more. All it takes, trust me, is a fresh perspective. Let's go. I hope I have your consent to record this session.
I hope so too.
Welcome to this episode of Fresh Perspectives, and here with me today I have the honor of hosting a very intelligent fellow, but I won't do too much introduction, so I'll let you introduce yourself as you please.
All right, thank you. Hi everyone, it's good to be here. It's a rare privilege. Don't take it for granted. Banjo is flattering me already. But yeah, I'm excited to be here discussing a very controversial topics in recent times. So my name is Abiodun, and recently I've dug into the world of data, using it to solve customer attrition, using it to solve customer churn for companies, and then using it to make my life easier and the life of millions of other mobile phone users. So I'm very close to the concept of AI. I'm in the building, in the production, also in the consumption as well. I use ChatGPT from time to time. And, it's ironic that I'm so close to the production and everything, but I'm also not always for AI, so I'm in a very good position. I think I'm jumping ahead of myself. So
In machine learning, I think that's something that AI actually is involved in. Is that not AI, machine learning?
Okay. Now the terminologies are coming out. Okay. So
What's the
so I
difference?
think I should start from the top.
Okay.
So data science, think of data science as this big family. Like
Yeah.
it's a very big family.
Mm-hmm.
And then under it, you have machine learning, and then you have artificial intelligence. So data science as a whole is a collection of all the principles that humans have learned over the years to extract meaningful insights from data. So under that, you have machine learning, and then you have artificial intelligence. So machine learning is teaching machines to understand and interpret data without human intervention. Now, artificial intelligence is also a part of machine learning, but it is more tailored towards using machine to do human tasks. So, for example, understanding text, interpreting sentiment. So, for example, if you want to read through millions of rows and say, this person is happy, this person is sad, this person is joyful, this person doesn't like this product.
Yeah.
That is closer to artificial intelligence. Now, machine learning is, you can also say it's using it to do human tasks, but it's more of, how do I put it? It's less of the task that you would naturally give a human to do. It usually requires a lot more computation. So a typical machine learning task would be, okay, out of all my 100,000 customers,
Yeah.
which of them are going to leave my product in the next 6 months? That's a churn classification problem. So, a human can probably do that. So maybe you assign 3 humans to track people's usage of your product over like 5 months, before they now say, this this miss is about to churn, that's
Yeah.
like you were outsourced to machine learning. But
Nice.
yeah,
One does human task and the other tries to mimic humans. And
exactly.
it's just very scary sometimes when you think about those things like, okay, at what point do we lose control entirely and give it to AI? But maybe it's not something to be scared about. Um, but yeah, thank you very much for joining this episode. It's not going to be too technical because I
Yeah.
know the way we started, it was more or less like we're going into like, the
Mm-hmm.
technology behind AI, but this is not really to talk more about that, but it's just the societal impact I think
Mm.
it has, and what really are the biases that we have, or are the things that maybe might not be true,
Okay.
or maybe it could be true. There's one of those things that I'm going to say, and I think it's probably a strong opinion, but I'm trying not to run ahead of myself. But uh, I think when I thought about this, the whole idea came to my mind when with something that happened with my manager. So usually we
Mm.
have this framework of objectives, at some
Okay.
point in the year, and
That sounds framework of objectives. Objectives alone is like, wow. Then frameworks again. Okay.
yeah. So the managers will come with frameworks, and then they will now
Okay.
give it to us like, okay, this is the framework of what we're expecting from this team, and then you all can then go on to coin your specific personal objectives from that framework. But it's all from the idea that as a team we should still have these aligned objectives somehow, that you're not conquering another thing and then my objective is completely different from yours, and
Okay.
just to
Yes.
kind of like align in some ways.
Mm-hmm.
So he gave us the objectives, and then in the meeting it was like, well, he coined this with ChatGPT. And I
Okay.
was like, I also, after I'd already submitted mine, that was when, so we were just having like that chat that, okay, so he refined it according to him with ChatGPT. And I'm like, well, I also refined mine with ChatGPT. So it's more or less like garbage in, well, not garbage in, garbage out, but it's like ChatGPT started it, ChatGPT ended it, basically. And it's not like, at what point do we really draw the line? Like, or do we really need to draw the line, really? And it's very funny. And in a way, I felt like I didn't want him to know that I used ChatGPT.
You said he mentioned when he
Yeah,
used
yeah,
like,
he did. But
so why did you
I don't
feel that he
understand why I
expected?
felt like, and I don't know, maybe it's me, but I felt like I'm not
It's
the only
probably most
one.
likely you.
I feel like I'm not the only one. But would you want your, I don't know, would you want your manager to actually know that all the tasks that you use ChatGPT for, that you
Mm.
actually used ChatGPT for it,
I think so. It's a very touchy subject,
right?
and of recent, I think there's more of an acceptance of what you can and cannot do with this artificial intelligence system. I would say for where I've worked so far and what I've seen, the environment I've been in, the acceptance for AI related outputs is growing.
Hmm.
But doesn't mean that you should be insensitive. For example, if you use ChatGPT or Claude or Gemini to compose a response to an email, you don't want to be reading insert the
Yeah.
recipient name here. You need to do your due diligence. I think that even that, like when people see mistakes that
Mhm.
you should have corrected when reviewing the AI output, when
Yeah.
people see that, it pisses them off more than not even getting a response. Because, I mean, how lazy can you get, right?
Mhm,
You were
mhm,
supposed to actually do this yourself, but you outsourced it. That's fine. But then do due diligence to like
mhm.
refine it. But that's on one hand. On another hand, I would still say that it depends. Should your manager know? I think at the end of the day, it depends on the kind of relationship that you have
Yeah.
with your manager. And relationship, I think it's built on trust. So maybe when you were hired, when you started working, you displayed some level of commitment to like the goal. Like you are always someone that, despite conflicts, you always keep the end goal in mind. If you decide to use artificial intelligence to like take some of the workload off yourself, such that there is like a positive impact over time,
Yeah.
then I don't think your manager would have like an issue with it. But if if you're just using it to become like more lazy,
So yeah,
you're open up a can of endless worms, I think.
absolutely. And I think when I thought about it, it wasn't like it was like this bad thing that it's
Mm.
forbidden. I mean, it was open with it, like it didn't even care, like you know. But I just felt like when I thought about it, like, okay, why did I think it was probably? I think it could communicate a sense of incompetence. And I think you don't want to get to a point where they don't see your value in the company as an employee. Like,
Mm.
okay, since you could use like you,
Yeah.
why do we really need you? Like,
You
but
know
I
what?
don't know
And that
if that is especially going to happen right then and there. But I think it's just like, I still need to bring my own personality to this. I need
was
to actually do this myself and all. But you mentioned something very interesting there, like outsourcing. Are we really outsourcing our mind? Do you agree with me that it negatively impacts our efficiency as like staff or employee?
like any new technology, and this will sound like a prepared answer. Trust me, it's horrible. Like any new technology, there are advantages and disadvantages.
Right.
Okay, now that I said that, I'm trying to think of the advantages of guns. But anyway,
Maybe
so
like
it
we could
all
say like mechanized, like this industrial revolution as it came.
okay. Well, some people are out of job, so
Exactly.
but maybe maybe so I think at the end of the day, are we outsourcing? Are we not? It depends on you as an individual. So you have to like first of all be present. You're using these systems, you have an end goal in mind, and you want to think about the benefits. You want to categorize them into two: short term, long term. So I'm using the system. Short term, what is it helping me to achieve? What is it helping me to accomplish? Then
Mhm.
long term, how do I see myself evolving as a result of using this thing? Am I using it to gain a short term advantage or short term leverage?
Mm,
Or am I just using it to replace myself? Because when
mm,
you begin to think along those lines, then you begin to cut down on some excesses. I mean, it's very easy to just outsource all the
mm,
intellectual work that you're meant to do to, oh, AI will figure it out. But the truth is, these systems are not perfect. I'm
mm.
sure you've heard of hallucinations
Yep.
where they say stuff that is not really true, maybe like
Mhm.
append an album to an artist when they didn't actually sing those songs. At the end of the day, these things don't have um, is it artificial general intelligence, which is where we want to get to right now.
Yeah.
All
AGM.
they actually know is based on all the text that they have trained on. They are not able to like say, based on A and B and C and D, then E is supposed to happen. They are not able to like actually answer out of what they actually are trained on. And to bring it back to what you asked, I think people have to be like everyone has to be conscious of the fact that I don't want to lose my competitive advantage. So at the like I said, long-term benefits at the end of 5 years, you don't want to become less skilled at what you do.
Mhm.
So for example, like myself, I write a lot of Python code because I do data and all that. And
Yeah.
there are times where, okay, the business needs this like yesterday, and then I don't have time to actually like maybe correct some syntax and whatnot. But I have the idea or I have an idea of what I want to build. Then I can go onto the systems and say, okay, based on this, just give me that. But then I mean, it's based on the fact that I know that I don't want to lose my competitive edge in the data space, that I'm going to take out time to actually say, okay, so how do I actually build this on
Mm.
my own? that is me looking out for myself. I think people need to look out for themselves more.
Yeah.
If you are using AI to do something that you particularly want to flourish in long term, I
Yeah.
think that area of you developing your skill,
Mm-hmm.
like your competence, you shouldn't like compromise on that at all. And
Yeah.
of course, that is like you not using AI too much. That's on that hand. On the second hand, I think it's also it's okay. So it's bad in that people are getting more lazy, but it's
Mm.
also good in that people are able to automate mundane tasks. So in the
Yeah.
world of medicine, in recent times, I learned this from a podcast, a productivity expert on YouTube, Ali Abdal. I've been following
Yeah.
him for like a year or two now, and he talks about the concept of the third brain. Now, the third brain is the part of your brain. I mean, if you read about it, you learn more. It's a part of the brain that helps you to do more um cognitively demanding tasks. And if you are able to outsource some of these mundane tasks, like remembering when to go to the supermarket, all these
Yeah.
reminders, you're able to use systems like alarms and all that, and task schedulers to just take care of all that, then you're able to leverage more of your cognitive brain to like do stuff that actually matters that AI can't do yet. And that's what helps you like maybe stand out in the
Yeah.
long run.
Yeah.
Right. So I don't think there's a yes or no answer to this.
Yeah. I feel like it doesn't really reduce our efficiency as humans, but yes, it can make us lazy. I agree. And
Can
but
I
I
say one
think
more thing?
it's yeah, go on.
Okay, so I just remembered something, and I would say that it is maybe downright bad because the amount of AI related content flooding the internet now. I mean, social media on its own before was overwhelming, but right now,
Yeah. There's this particular opinion that I have that, you know, when you ask ChatGPT, a lot of people say this as well, that ChatGPT is not going to take anybody's job. Oh my. Well, I'm not here to, say it's going to take your jobs and blah, blah, but I don't think that's completely true. Obviously, ChatGPT was trained to say what he says. It wouldn't come out to say, yes, I'm here to take your job. There's this research that says that AI is shaking up the graduate jobs market. Like graduates are finding it. Now they have a new competitor, which is AI. Now let me explain how this whole thing works. So even the job market, people applying for jobs, they are applying with AI. Like they're answering their cover letters, everything, even CVs are written by AI. So everybody has almost the same or similar
yeah,
output. So the competition is even now more fierce. And AI itself is now in addition to the competition because now, so I think AI is going to take some jobs off the market. And that's the honest truth. But I think what you could do is to position yourself strategically. But to say that it's not going to take it, and this is how it's going to take it, it's not going, obviously, they are not going to employ AI instead of you. But in a team where there's a senior developer and maybe like 2, 3 junior developers. Now I'm using developers, no, that's just an example. But there'll
yeah.
be a time where you wouldn't need 2, 3 or 4 junior developers. You just need one
But there
senior
won't even be a
developer.
time. It's happening already.
Exactly. You only
So,
need one senior developer and maybe no junior developer needed because where exactly do you want to? Why do you need someone that will write code that will have bugs? And then you need AI to debug the code again and all those things. But
yeah.
that's what I feel. And I think I'm just saying this not to scare people, obviously, but it's just what's going to happen. Like, if you look back to like the evolution past things that have happened, like the industrial revolution that I mentioned, when mechanized farming or mechanization came to be, like a lot of people lost their jobs. A farmland that you would have needed like 200 farmers, you have a tractor that can probably do everything within one day. You don't need that. What happened to those 2,000 farmers or,
They didn't learn how
1,500?
to use tractors.
They will learn how to use, but you only need one person to operate the tractor. So I think it's not about you becoming that one person that can
Mm.
operate the tractor well. But that's not going to be enough because there are now like 2,000 farmers that want to learn how to operate the tractor. So what do you really do? How do you position yourself in this kind of market?
How do you position yourself? I think I'm going to say three things. So the first thing I'm going to say is it's always been a competitive world.
True.
And I think the truth is it's only getting more competitive. That's the first fundamental thing I'm going to say to like all the things that you have just said. But I have a few thoughts. So the first thing is it's only getting more competitive. And then the second thing is, for someone, like I said, I'm close to like the production of AI. I mean, I recently even built one for my company from the ground up, not from the ground up, but like just leverage some of the existing frameworks.
Yeah.
And then I also hold knowledge sharing sessions about AI, about how like helping people understand how it has evolved to where we are right now.
Mm-hmm.
And after the knowledge sharing sessions, most of the questions I get is, will AI take our jobs? And all I always say is, AI won't take your jobs, but people using AI will. So at the end of the day, I don't think people like you can't, how do I say it? Okay, so you said something about interviews and everybody using AI to just have that basic level standing. Now, you don't want to compete from a level of, I mean, you want to compete, you want to start your competition or your differentiation, or you want to start standing out from a place where you have at least somewhat level standing with people. So you have to learn how to use AI as well.
So it's not a bad thing to actually use AI then. Like
It's not a bad thing. So, but
you should.
now, so if you're using AI and you're not thinking of ways where you can make your own interaction more human. I mean, I think the most powerful people right now are the people that are able to spot the pitfalls in AI generated responses.
Hmm.
So those kind of people are able to use AI to like scale a lot of their results, but then they are also able to to understand the pitfalls and biases of AI to just make all those multiple responses like sound pretty human. And that comes with the level of, okay, you have worked with these systems, you even know about it, you have taken the extra effort to even understand, okay, this sounds like AI, this doesn't sound like AI. Again, that sounds like gaming the system again, right? But I'll leave that as a food for thought for another day. The third thing I wanted to say is you mentioned something about companies hiring less because of they can one with AI, one developer is like a whole team in some cases. And yeah, I would say that's definitely true. Like 2 or 3 years ago, in the data industry, you'd see teams of data engineers, analysts, and scientists. But right now, most companies, or maybe some companies I know of, are only, maybe if they have only a data engineer and a data analyst, or a data engineer and a data scientist. Sorry, I'm just throwing these terminologies around. They are fine because those guys, those developers can probably use AI to like just do some of the things that would have taken 2 or 3 or 4 other people to do, you know. But at the end of the day, one thing that I still think humans are still very relevant in is reviewing output of code or something before it goes live. That's something that I mean
They need
AI
human
hasn't taken yet.
senior
So
developer. Right. Would you argue that we are not losing the ability to think
I
critically?
think we are. I think we are.
Right. Oh,
I think we are.
I was hoping I would be wrong because I feel
Oh, you're not wrong.
like a lot of times I don't know how people use it, but I feel like sometimes when I use AI, I use it in a way to learn from it. Like there are some responses that I've seen from AI, and I'm like, okay, that makes a lot of sense. And in a way, I try to use that for myself. Like I build upon that. But I know a lot of people just copy and paste, like copy
Yeah.
and paste. I think we were discussing this earlier that day, if you remember, like in music industry, when
Oh, yeah.
musicians use AI to, I'm sure some of them are already writing lyrics with AIs. I just feel like it's not, I don't know. Maybe it's just me. Maybe it's my bias, really. Like, I just feel like if you're producing a song based off ChatGPT, it's just really, but what do you think about that? Am I overthinking that to say that I don't feel it's genuine?
I think I think that maybe we should have had a third guest on this call so that we can like be sure that we are not two people with similar biases just bouncing ideas off each other. I share in what you think. I've always thought that anything that is art or artistic
Mm.
should involve some measure of effort. So I actually agree with you that, my God, like using AI to just like create something without a lot of effort is not the best, you know.
I,
I really appreciate music with a lot of like deep thought. Like when you're hearing things like Kane, Fame,
but I'm sure ChatGPT
Hey,
will give you
I'm like,
that
okay.
easily.
Maybe ChatGPT can actually do that,
I
but like
think,
some deeper.
yeah, I know a friend that used to feel bad that, I think they were writing a thesis and they were like, this thing is too, they feel like they're cheating. And I'm
Oh,
now thinking like, is it really cheating or because you could argue that it's like using a calculator, right? Obviously, there are some calculations you can't do with your head that you just need to use a calculator. So, in a way, can you argue that you shouldn't really feel it's not really cheating if you're using calculator to calculate something? Then it shouldn't be cheating if you're writing your thesis with ChatGPT. Or what do you think? How do you see that?
huh. That's very interesting. That's a very wow. I've never even seen it that way before. Wow. Calculators
Yeah.
and thesis. Well, I wow, this is like a curveball. I thought I was prepared. Wow, this is okay. Well, I think at the end of the day, whether you think it's cheating or not,
Hmm.
you can't just use AI systems to write your thesis. There's this system for evaluating how much AI generated your written work is. Okay, yeah, it's called Turnitin.
Right.
So when you pass it through Turnitin and what you turned in, pun intended, it has more than like a certain level of AI detected text, then
Yeah.
they are not going to take it. So whether or not you're like quote and unquote cheating or not, at the end of the day, you don't want to do the same coursework or like program twice.
Yes.
So I think at the end of the day,
But from
maybe AI
ethical,
generates like a template for you,
yeah.
like gives you a starter and say, okay, these are all the important facts from all the different disciplines relevant to what you're trying to pursue.
Yeah.
Then you can now like say, okay, say, this is relevant, this is not relevant based on what my professor talked about in the course of the
Yeah.
semester. Let me take this, let me take this, then let me like try to write it in my own words.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
from an ethical standpoint, and I know obviously you're not a judge of ethics or anything, but because this is just for people who probably feel because I know people that did feel bad using AIs, but at the same time, I'm like, are you working smart or is it something? Is it a concern? Because yeah, I wouldn't. I don't know. I think I use AI. I think everybody uses AI, but at the same time, like there are people who feel like maybe it's not really ethical, but there are also people that think it might be a smart idea. Like if you're not doing it, you're doing yourself a huge disfavor. But
Mm,
what's your own? And this is just on your own. It's definitely not something we say, oh, people must do this, people must do that. And
yeah.
everybody is free to like have their opinion. But what's your opinion? Just out of curiosity.
I think that I can definitely use AI to save myself time,
Yeah.
but wouldn't want to use AI to rob myself of the privilege of saying that, oh yes, I did that myself. So
Mm.
in as much as I'm using all these systems to like generate like the basic response,
Yeah.
I am also like tasking myself, and this is not like a idealistic like world is perfect answer. This is what I try to do every day. You know,
Yeah.
in as much as I'm using AI to like generate the base level response to like projects, assignments, tasks, I'm also holding myself accountable to say, okay, now that the heavy lifting, quote and unquote, is kind of done.
Yeah.
Now use your own Abiodun, use your own creative like
Yeah.
aspect to like take this to the next level. And that's what I think really can give me an edge. So that's just
Yeah.
what I
I agree with that in the sense that, we were talking about adding that extra layer of personality on some of this.
yeah.
That's really what differentiates you from the public. Like recruiters are already saying that they receive tons of identical CVs, identical
Mhm.
cover letters, and all those things. I think that really is what could make you stand out, you know. Maybe we'll get to a point where they'll be recruiting the so before it used to be the best candidates. Now maybe now they will now go for like the worst CV.
Oh,
Not
nah, I don't
in
think
terms
it's
of
going to be
experience,
that
but
radical.
the worst
But
cover
like, I
letters.
think,
Like this is
you know what I do
artificially
think?
used.
You know what I do think? I think that very soon, I think the academic world is actually adapting to the emergence of AI and all the responses that it's able to generate. I think it has done well so fast, but I think it's going to really catch up.
Mm.
Like it's going to ramp it up a lot more in in the next few years. Like as far as recent as like this evening, before I came on this podcast, I got an email about the one of the founders of LinkedIn saying that it's like a lot of students are using AI to turn in exams,
Mhm.
and now rather than having humans evaluate those exams, like AI should actually like mark the exams. Now you can see how
Yeah,
bloody that's
it's
going to be. So like it's probably going to get bloody. Like I think
yes,
that in the near future we are going to get to a stage where most systems are becoming impossible to crack. Like the level of expertise, like the level of competence you would have or
yeah,
you need to have to like maybe get a job, pass an
yeah,
exam may become so impossibly difficult that they'll now have to scale it back down and say, oh wow, this is not possible for human beings. I think that's a trend that we're going to see pretty soon.
yeah. I
Pretty
think a
soon.
lot of people discuss about like education.
I
Really.
think that's like the most affected area. Or that's like the area that it looks like, oh yes, AI can work here. Just take this stress
Yeah.
of education off me. Focus on other things that matter.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
it's one of the
yeah,
hardest hit sectors. Also, we've seen that the artistic industry, the creative arts,
yeah.
movies, songs, they have also been hit
Mm-hmm.
by AI. Politics as well, creation of
Politics.
deepfakes. Yeah, creation of deepfakes, creation of people's
All right.
accounts getting hacked. So there's this concept of virtual agents now, where
Mm-hmm.
you can just have an AI agent just manage your social account, find out what's trending on Twitter, create a post, and like just manage your Twitter for you.
Hmm.
And then people
Good.
buy these bots to actually manage accounts for them. So
Wow.
when you go online now, you are not really sure who you are
Who you're
actually,
talking?
who you are liking, whose post you are
Mm.
liking. So it's an AI world. It's an AI world.
What I feel about that education sector, in education's defense, I think the best way to actually like reclaim that industry would be that we go back to I think in the Western world, maybe that's where we don't really have examinations, like where people come into the exam halls and write the exam. I think if we adopt that fully, obviously, if you could have passed your assignments with AI, but when you come into the hall and you are writing with pencil and paper, I think that would really test you and what you have upstairs.
Huh.
But then,
Are you using physical exams?
yeah, physical exams. But how far really is too far? I think, we were talking about people writing their toasts, wedding toasts, with AIs and all. Do you think, what do you think about that? Like, would you?
Yeah, that's where I draw the line. That's where I draw the line. Like when AI begins to degrade like the quality of my relationships, particularly the ones I hold dear to me, I'm like, nah, 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 nah. This has to be me. I mean, what's worse than like getting your job replaced by AI?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe having the love of your life or someone you hold dear replaced by AI too. So like, nah, I think that's too
Now,
much.
wait.
I'm not even going to compromise on that one. That's a no. That's a no.
Interesting, interesting. There was something you wanted to share regarding the industry, the movie industry. I don't know how.
Yeah, that was like the Writers Guild strike that happened middle of last year. To I think the strike got called off maybe early 2025 or late 2024. We're feeling the effects now. You remember how COVID slowed down a lot of things? That
Yeah.
strike has slowed down a lot of things. Several blockbuster movies that are supposed to come out this year. I mean, I don't know if you've been following movie scene of recent. I don't know. The
Mm.
movies have not been like, I don't know. But like that really affected has affected the quality of movies we are seeing right now. So what's this Writers Guild thing? So the whole controversy started when some directors, movie producers realized that, oh, hey, maybe we don't really need to hire as many script writers.
Hmm.
How about we just have AI create something blockbuster for us? And then several of these script writers started to say, hey, how can you use AI to replace us and all that? And yeah, there was a lot of noise and they decided they were going on strike and the strike lasted for like 6 plus months. Yeah. So,
Hmm.
yep.
I do think that AIs can actually, maybe these script writers could use AI to enhance, or what do you think?
I hope to God that they don't. I
Ah.
hope so. You know what? See, let me paint a scenario for you. Now, AI systems are only going to be as good as the data that they are trained on.
Right.
Now, imagine a Nigeria, imagine someone, someone builds an AI system and trains an AI system
Honest
based
data.
on Nollywood movie script over the past 4 or 5 years.
Oh my word.
Imagine an average, okay, let's just say 4 or 5. Okay, the movies have gotten better, but just imagine, like there's this saying about Nollywood, the Nollywood industry. You know that you most likely know the beginning, the middle, and the end.
Yeah,
Now,
yeah.
imagine those kind of movies replicated, and AI can do things faster. Thank God.
Mm-mm.
Imagine those movies scaled by 1,000 times.
Hmm. It will be so
Would you be
difficult to actually
encouraged?
get.
Would you be encouraged to go to the cinemas to see like, this?
Yeah. No.
I mean, maybe that's a question for you to answer before you.
Oh, how the tables have turned.
uh, so,
Yeah.
but you know what? I think there's an area of opportunity, just as I said that. So, like these script writers, maybe they don't have time to go to a Nollywood school of videography or like something, but like they do see that, oh, the way Nollywood depicts love is quite unique,
Hmm.
and love is there's romance in love, there's love in romance, but the way the French display romance, the initial, hey, I like you, can we go out, is fun. So what if they create a system or like they train a model, an LLM on bits of Nollywood text or
Hmm.
scripts, infuse that with some of French, then some of Italian, some of, like bring in some of the qualities of all these diverse movie industries and then see what they come up with. Of course, there are going to be some horrendous movies,
Yeah,
but maybe
combination.
there could be a new like
Yeah.
industry created. So these are some of the ways that
Mm-hmm.
we need to
Mm-hmm.
open up our mind to like see the
Mm-hmm.
possibilities and not just replicate, all the issues
Error.
that we currently have in our world today. I mean, you could just watch a movie where the opening scene is Nigerian, and then somewhere in the movie there's like this Bollywood dancing and singing, and
Yeah.
it's,
I doubt you would like that though, but
it's
I think,
crazy.
yeah, as you said that, it reminded me of an idea that I've always been thinking about too. Although I don't think like, we should write songs with AIs, but I was just thinking like, would it be possible to like analyze hit songs that have actually like connected with people, and then analyze those songs, find a pattern, if possible, from those songs, even if it's like maybe a key or note or whatever, and then try to combine all those things into one song or replicate the common factors between like all these hit songs and generate like list of songs. Do you think there could be something like that kind of engineering to songs that we as humans connect to? Do you think this?
Definitely, definitely.
Yeah,
And
that's
it's
also
along the themes that I've been interacting with like recently. So like 2 weeks ago, I went to eat at a restaurant, and then the owner of no, one of the PR managers, the publicity managers for that restaurant is let me just say, white guy, and he has a master's in data science. So he recently got a scholarship to study at Harvard.
wow.
He got offered a scholarship to study at Harvard because of the project he worked on. And what was this project? So around, I think a year ago, well, maybe more, he started collecting trending topics in Nigeria, like data on trending topics in Nigeria. So maybe when Mother's Day is close, he collects like several posts on Mother's Day, like videos, like maybe when you remember time of NSAS,
Mhm.
political upheaval in the country, collected that when AFCON comes around. And then he collected this for a number of years, and then based off of that, like that trend prediction and whatnot, he built a virality prediction, whatever. So
Mhm.
when he built this, he predicted like he actually bought like the copyrights to sort of video,
Mm.
and then based on his virality prediction algorithm, he it told him or let him know that that video will go viral
Wow.
around Father's Day or something. So when he posted that video,
Mhm.
he got like 27 million views or likes. I can't really remember.
Wow.
And that was how Harvard reached out to him to offer him that scholarship. So that
Wow.
virality prediction thing that you're talking about actually really works.
Ah.
And maybe not a real life project, but I'll give you an example. There's this song, I don't know if it's still popular on the internet now. It's by Dochi. It's like Anxiety.
Mm. I don't think we know it.
Oh, okay. But like I saw a video, it's like Anxiety by Dochi. You can
Okay,
look it up.
yeah.
It's like a video where like they broke down the elements of that song.
Mm.
So that song is viral, but like if you break down the instruments and the melody, you can
Yeah.
trace it back to a song that was viral maybe like 10 years ago. And that
Right.
song that was viral 10 years ago,
Mm.
if you break it down, you can trace it to a song that was really viral like 50
Like,
years ago. So there's
mm.
like that underlying like base
Yeah.
factor that some of these professionals are exploring to create things that like go viral. So your idea is not
Let
really
me not sell this idea like this now. But
there's
I
nothing
sure I
more
won't
than
cut this part and say no, no, no.
yeah.
But yeah, I think we could really, and that's not just limited to songs or music or predicting, content that will go viral. But I think it's something that we could also leverage on, like just in whatever field we could analyze. And that's essentially what a data analyst does, like analyze past trends and predict future
Mm-hmm.
occurrences and all. And I think that's one way we could actually um, leverage AI and all. But yeah, the truth of the matter is, I don't think AI is going anywhere. Do you think so?
No, I don't think so.
How do we cope? How do we manage? Just like round up.
We need to learn to live with it. We need
Mm.
to learn. Definitely, one thing we need to beef up is our security, because it's becoming more. It's becoming easier for people to like impersonate other people. So that's something we definitely need to look out for. And then we also need to be more, still security conscious. So now maybe ChatGPT and chat based AI systems were like concepts of maybe a year or two ago, the AI world or the world is like now leaning more towards AI agents. These are things that can actually not take action based off of what you like tell them. So there are things, I mean, there are systems where you can just say, find me a nice pleated skirt or something, but buy me a nice pleated skirt on Amazon, and it takes your details, actually books it, and it gets delivered to your
Mm.
doorstep. So we need to be more like security conscious. That's the first thing I would say. Second thing is like people fear what they don't understand. So I think
Yeah.
everybody needs to take some time out to actually like learn about some of these systems and how they can use it to improve their lives. That's the second thing. Is there a third thing I would say? Maybe just remember that AI won't take your job, but people using AI will. So
Your
yeah,
comment.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, AI won't take your job. People who know how to operate and use AI will. I think another thing I was going to say is that, like, for online dating now, I think even the dating apps now or the chatting apps have AIs now, and it's just so difficult to know who you are chatting with.
Yeah, I can imagine that industry has to, because before now, well, I didn't really know much about these dating apps, but like I'm sure that like from the few things I've read, I know there was a lot of what you ordered versus what you got. I
Now
can
it's
only
just going to
imagine
be
how,
more.
oh my God. Oh my.
Someone will sound so intelligent on the phone, and then you only get there to see the.
Yeah, I mean, there's AI for everything, voice, text, video.
Mm.
What do you want to see? Like,
Mm.
just create, you can just type in a prompt, maybe like an image generator, create a hyper realistic 3D image of me. I have a six pack, I have jaws of Hercules, I have arms
Wow.
of Thor. Like,
And you can even add your own picture to, like, just
of
use it as
course,
a
I mean,
template.
based off of my picture, it's just going to modify it and make it be very realistic.
Oh my, oh my. Yeah, truly. Yeah, AI is, I don't think they're going anywhere. Just like we've had all sorts of evolution over the years, we just need to. So we need to adapt. We need to find a way. I don't know how we do that, but I believe there will be one thing for sure is I think maybe business. You go into business, at least you can use AI to your own advantage at that point in time, fully to your advantage, and not to replace you or not as a competition. But even at that, I think it can still be a competition.
Mm,
But
mm.
yeah, good. Thank you very much for joining this show.
It's
It's
been
been
fun.
yours. Yeah, it's been fun. It's been fun having these conversations, and that's the whole idea of this podcast, to just have people thinking about some of these things, ponder on it, and make better decisions, really better life decisions. Like at this moment, there are some jobs that I would not really advise anybody to go to, honestly speaking. And information is power. If you don't know some things, you might just spend 4 or 5 years studying some things that it's
Mm.
okay. But yeah, all in all, thank you very much for joining the show. And well, yeah, thank you very much if you're still listening, because I think this is going to be a very long episode. But if you're still listening, thank you very much. And I'll see you in the next episode. Do you want to say bye to our dear, wonderful listeners?
Thank you so much for listening. Stay safe. It's an AI world.
Absolutely. Stay safe now. It's not like COVID. But yeah, bye.